We'll just give everybody a couple more minutes. Hetty, what we need to do is present some slides, so you need to stop presenting. Yeah, that's it. Maybe, Christoph, you can bring up the first
Our slides.
slide. Yeah.
Yeah.
So nobody else can jump in and present.
Let's see. Oh, there's already 12 people getting busy.
Yeah. Okay, let's make a start, and for other people that join, you know, they can jump in afterwards. The first thing to say is we are going to record this. Jeff's chief recorder, so hopefully nobody has an issue with that. It just means that you guys can then, you know, have a look at it later, and anybody who hasn't managed to make the call can also look at it. What we'll do is, because you probably haven't met, most of you, all three of us, is that we'll just give a quick introduction. So I'll start, seeing as I'm talking. My name's Martin Russell. I joined Connecting Art essentially as a mentor back in 2020 when we did the Versus Virus. Christoph was on the team as well. And we together moved this beast forward to what it is now. In terms of background, I don't have an art background. I'm not an artist. I've never done anything art-wise. So my role is more on the management and the IT side of things. I spent 30 years with corporates in Switzerland, banks, stock exchanges and so forth. And Connecting Art is kind of part of my mission to give something back from those 30 years. So that's me. Christoph, maybe you want to say something?
Yeah, for those who haven't met me yet, one of the reasons why you probably haven't physically met me yet is because I'm kind of bouncing between Singapore and Hong Kong at the moment. My original background is actually, I studied art at the University of Zurich. And then I moved into technology. I spent 15 years in London after I moved to Hong Kong in 2020, and now I'm based out of Singapore. So art has always been, you know, a fascination and passion for me, combined with technology, but also, you know, what I do for a living, basically in terms of the main breadwinning is I'm building digital platforms. I've worked for companies like Swisscom. We've built platforms for Roche, for Novartis, I've set up my own company, which I ultimately sold in 2016, so or 2017 actually, and I'm now working for this Japanese company where we build digital platforms. And this is my passion, and I've done it before. We've built successful platforms with thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of users. But now I want to kind of, you know, do it in a different field. This is kind of Connecting Artists the opportunity to do that as well as here. So hopefully I will have a chance to meet some of you. If you're in Singapore or in Hong Kong, let me know. Maybe we can, you know, we can catch up. Yeah, I'm one of the founding members of the Connecting Art. I was part of the hackathon, which we were the team that won one of the prizes. So together with Martin's mentorship originally. So yeah, building technology platforms is my passion, and art. So that's why I'm here. Yeah. Okay. And then we have Jeff.
I'm not currently sharing video because I'm recording and my system is struggling, so you only get me by voice. Some of you have met me, some of you haven't. Like Martin, I joined, well actually, Martin, I joined in 2021, 22, and I've been working with Christoph and Martin, looking at the social media side of things, and also like Martin, my background is in banking IT, but with very little art background as such. But it's, again, something that we wanted to do to try and put something back into Martin. So that's kind of me, really. Project management background mainly. I'm still working in another role, so I don't actually have that much time at the moment. Also trying to build a house in Melbourne, which is taking a lot more time than I thought. So you might not hear that much from me throughout the year, but I'll still be around in the background.
Okay, very good. We won't go around all of you guys because otherwise we'll be here until about 3 o'clock in the morning. But we have got a few slides that we want to get through. The purpose of this is to share our next steps, but also get feedback from you. And so this will be a bit of an interactive discussion. And there will be particular slides in which we can start that discussion. But if we move on to the first slide, just to give you a background as to why we originally started Connecting Art, as we've all kind of mentioned, this all started with a versus virus hackathon during Corona times in April of 2020. And as Christoph mentioned, we won a few awards for that. The awards were also in the form of money, and we'll come on to that in a minute. And the idea was really, we recognized obviously during Corona you've got no chance to spread the word about your art and what you're doing and so forth, or at least it's more difficult. So we looked at ways that were more modern of being able to do that, where you didn't have to be physically in front of somebody. And we wanted to help you sell more art and promote yourselves with ease, basically, a more easier way of doing it. And also to kind of create a community. We wanted to try and build a concept where we could connect between both the artists and the art lovers and ultimately the buyers. And we wanted to foster a community of artists in doing that. Now, what we wanted to do essentially to start with is we wanted to do an association. But that legally wasn't possible because as an association, you would all be members, but you would be earning. And as an association, you can't have members who earn. That's the law in Switzerland. So we set up a limited liability company in Switzerland at the end of 2021. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. But of course, it's not as easy as all of that. As I'm sure you're aware, selling art online is a very slow and difficult process. I mean, it's not like selling any sort of type of e-commerce, selling anything else online, more or less. People don't make an instant decision. They want to have a look at their art. They want to talk to the artists maybe. And, there's a lot of interaction before people basically say, right, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And the other reality of all of this is that Christoph, myself and Jeff mentioned it in his introduction, is we have limited resources. We don't do this as a full-time job. We don't get paid for it. We have to do other things, not necessarily just to earn, but we do other things. For example, I myself will be working with some other startups in 2024 as well. So we have to be careful on what we spend our time on. we wanted to do online sales in 2023. So make sure that we can sell some of your art. That's what we set out to do. We didn't achieve that. We sold some greeting cards and things like that, which was great. But artworks, no, we didn't manage that so far. All the development work that we do behind the scenes, that's quite resource intensive. And whilst kind of in front of the scenes, if you like, we've done events and they've brought sales, it's quite a lot of work. It'll take typically 3+ months of planning and quite a bit of work to actually get an event going. And the reality of it is, and as I'm sure you're all aware, getting buyers interested in yourselves and your artworks, that needs your commitment. It's not just what we can do, it's what you can do. So this is going to be a topic of what we talk about, is kind of working together. And what we found over the last couple of years is that's not easy. You guys, we perfectly understand, like ourselves, you're busy with lots of other things. And so to build a committed online community, it takes time and it's not easy. And so we need to look at ways in which we can achieve that without kind of, causing a great overhead for you guys and for us, for that matter. So let's move on to the next slide. And this is where you can then give us a little bit of feedback. So maybe what we'll do is we'll go through the list. We can see most, if not all, of your names, and maybe you can give us some ideas of your views, any expectations that you have, and so forth. Liz, if you don't mind, could we start with you? You'll need to unmute your mic.
Sorry, yeah. Am I unmuted now?
No, you're unmuted.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Cool. All right. Okay, thank you for picking on me first. Being on the other side of the world, I admit I haven't actually put a great deal of effort into this. Jeff contacted me during COVID and I went, oh yeah, I'll be part of that. That'll be fun. But I sort of feel a bit in a way out of it because I'm in Australia and most of the rest of you are in Europe, or at least Northern Hemisphere. So I don't have any particular expectations except that I think it's a wonderful idea. And yes, I should put more effort into taking part in it, whatever that looks like. So I'm interested in knowing what other people think, I guess. And I suspect we just need to build more of a social media presence, which takes constant effort and is a pain in the bum. But yeah, it seems to be the only way that you can actually build an audience.
Yeah, exactly. We'll come to that. That's a good point, Liz. Thank you. Irena, do you have...
Liz, I think the only reason Martin picked you first is because you're at the top of the screen. And so he's probably going to pick on Margot.
Oh, okay, top of his screen. Fair enough.
Wasn't vindictive or anything.
No, that's okay. And if I disappear, it's because it's 10 o'clock at night, and I might just fall asleep.
Yeah. Well, you can always pick up from the recording anyway if you need to.
True.
Actually, you're right, Jeff, except that my screen layout might be different to yours. So the next person on the list that I can see is Irena.
At first maybe I want to tell you a lot of things. for all work which you do. Last year I found you, and thanks a lot for this work which you do. It can be look like it's very easy, but I know that it's very not easy to find, to make inside, to make in social media, to make in some to make us more visible in internet, to make an audience, to make an this party, which I don't know, events which you make. It's a lot of work, and yeah, it's not very easy, but we together on our way. The way to be more successful, it's the way to be another, and of course, I think events it's works. Maybe we can make some charity events to build more. To make more better, to make more contact with our potential audience. Charity is great. I would like to give some of my arts. It would be nice. And maybe if you tell that with gift cards, it was not bad. Oh, my English. It was good, yeah, with a card of maybe we can print some of artworks on T-shirt or on some sweaters or on something. Maybe it's also can be some part of gifts. Maybe of, I don't know, to be another, to be different, to making more steps to our audience. Yeah, something like this. And of course, a lot of things for what you do. I open to help anyway. I am for with to my hands with you.
Okay, that's very good and very interesting, Irena. Thank you. Margot, you're next on my list, at least.
Okay. Where to start? Well, I think it's very difficult to sell online because, for example, when I buy something, I like to see the item. And art is very difficult, and it could be misinterpreted for, the color, the texture. I mean, people imagine different things when one sees something in a small scale on the phone. And for example, with my prints, I sold, I actually gave it as a gift to one aunt in Peru. And she said, can you print it a little bit bigger? It's like, no, this is not a computer, generated. It's a plate. It's a plate in metal and is engraved there. I cannot make the plate bigger just to fit your living room or the area you want to print. They have a size. People sometimes don't consider, buyers that they don't know art, they don't consider that the chosen format, colors, is related to the artist itself. It's not to fit the living room. It's what we have inside and how we express ourselves. So that's why I find it sometimes very difficult that people will have an idea. People that maybe they want some art for the home, maybe they are not, they don't know much about art or the different techniques, but they just want to fill up the rooms, and they can't sometimes imagine what they have on a mobile, on a computer, and the texture. All those things are difficult to display in a flat, in a two-dimensional background, and somehow, apart from all the challenges of social media, I don't know if people are nowadays interested in investing. in art, not the spending, because I don't find that buying something, a piece of artwork is something that you spend, you invest in art. I don't think that people are they so interested nowadays when everything, it's a conflict I have inside, because there are so many things that are just printed and sold everywhere. So to get an original artwork, I mean, I like to get originals. I mean, I will never get a copy of something. But what are the values of people right now, of buyers? You know, what are the values that they have regarding art? Okay, I stop now.
No, those are very good points. And as you see, Christoph is writing them all down. So we'll come back to those and certainly include them in what we're talking about in terms of what we do in 2024. Giggs, you're next on my list at least.
Hello, everybody. So what I've kind of noted on my end is it'll be really lovely if we could, as sales start generating, maybe perhaps at the end of this year or next year, we start doing things like an annual in-person exhibition of all the artists. So we pick a location and then we do an annual exhibition. And then so it could be something that's structured around the time when we know that, okay, maybe in Zurich there's a lot of collectors, or it's an art week of some sort, something that kind of then aligns with or whatever the cultural hub is taking place during the time. I noted that also, I think I agree on the social media presence. That would be really good, just up in that, and then that allows us to also share as a collective of artists, because I think we all have a different network that we can share the Connecting Art page and sort of kind of get all our different communities together to follow that. Because I might have a bunch of collectors or people who love me and follow me, but don't necessarily like the type of art that I make, but they might like somebody else's work, and then that's very beneficial if we share sort of like our communities that way. And then I think also with that, it'll just help us push promotion towards the website. Yeah, those are the only things I'm kind of looking forward to. And then this year, pretty much, I'm expecting to just make more work as I'll be relocating back to South Africa, so back to my original studio, so more space. So I'll be expecting to make more work, so then more work on the website. So I'm also just not expecting, but I'm just hoping for like more sales through the site since I'll be in Southern Africa. Okay.
Those are very good points. I mean, we're getting a lot of great ideas here. So let's move on. And Chiara, you're next.
So, hi, everyone. I'm very happy to see people by face. So I would say I would start my speech, let's call it like that, by saying, finally a call, seeing everyone. I'm very happy to see and hear you all. And that was something I was truly missing. Like, I could see everyone's writing, but I always wondered, who's behind a name, right? So I'm very, very happy to see you all. For what concerns ideas for the business, I think that it's important that we finally understand, I think, the target audience. The target audience for me means, do we want to be a bit varied in what we sell? Meaning it could be internet people buying gadgets for certain occasions, such as a new baby was born, you name it, Christmas. Then there's plenty of gadgets. And let's say we could put on a print-on-demand service. That would be for that kind of target audience who wouldn't, I think, invest on original pieces, but who would be happy to once in a while get a lovely present. And maybe the more they do so, the more the name of our website is known. For what concerns instead original art pieces, well, I think that probably that's more a topic which is of interest for collectionists, people collecting art, also for the status of it, who can spend money on it, or gallerists. So I see different target audiences here and a good potential in both cases. So basically people who are willing to invest on art because it's a value per se and they have the money to do that. But on the other side, I would say normal people like us who just enjoy making personalized presents, gadgets. So with a lower budget, I would say. And I believe that online selling is really good when someone has a name, such as Amazon. Before that, it's really a struggle, I would say. So I hope we get there to have a name. And I heard wonderful ideas here already. And I would add something else, and then I stop and I give time to speak for others. And I do believe still in on-the-spot local networking. I know that we all come from different places all around the world, but we live in a place, right? We have a house, we have our friends and circle of people, and I think that probably each one of us should push more a bit on networking, go out, show our face, show our works in events, you name it, public places, bars, pubs, cultural associations, whatever comes into our mind. And I don't know if this could be taken in consideration, but maybe hiring a selling person, a marketing person, of course, that would mean we would have to pay a fee at that point for a person of multiple persons in different spots where we live. But that could be also an option in order to boost our art in reality, and then maybe give business cards and so on and drag them on the online world. So I still believe that local networking events, pushing in that direction, marketing in that direction has still a strong value.
Yeah, and I think that's those are all good points as well, and we have to develop that over time. One of the people that's joined us, a few of you have mentioned social media. We've already hired Athia, who's actually based in the Philippines, and she's going to help us move forward with social media. And we're looking to do that more with you guys. And all these sorts of ideas, we're actually, as I said at the beginning, it needs commitment from your side, but we're here to support as well. And, so all these sort of ideas we'll certainly take on board. You just help us with the execution, if you like. Okay, Hetty, maybe we'll come to you next.
Okay, hi everybody. Very nice to see you. And I also agree, like Chiara, that it's really already a good start in seeing each other and discussing these things together. As mentioned, that's actually one of your goals, is to become a community, to become more a group. And I think as a group, we can do much more than just sitting as an artist waiting till you guys, Christoph and Jeff and you, that you're arranging things. I think we can do it all together, helping each other. And like you said, the local network is very good. So if we can have some maybe simple tools, like for example, I just made a video compilation for a group of friends, and everybody was just having a very short video message, and it was also taken from all over the world, but it was representing a group, and it you have then a face behind a community, not only a name, Connecting Arts, but you also see already the artists. Is already a little bit more personal towards the viewer or the potential buyers or whatever can be taken. And it's very easy to spread this link, because this link has been looked at for I don't know how many times, because everybody says, oh, this is cute, up, and they send the link, So that might be something when I think at a real to-do thing that should be possible to create within this group. That's already one thing. That's in order to get already a little bit this audience via our local network or via our own social network, and maybe to tease them with something, I don't know, that they can win or whatever, or like you say, with a charity thing. But yeah, I do charity already a lot myself, so then I have to look in my prizes that I still earn something, of course.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I think about that we can do online. Further, I'm also agree that presenting yourself live is also very important. I'm also not buying so much online. First I have to see something, and then maybe afterwards, if I'm well known with the brand or with the product, then I might buy another product from the same brand online. And I think for most of your art, like you say, it's important that people have seen it already in real. And then maybe afterwards, I believe that they easier buy it online from the same artist, for example.
Yeah.
But also as a group, okay, we are very far from each other. Maybe if it is logistical possible to do an annual event together where we all work on, not only the three people behind Connecting Art, but something that we can divide, maybe some tasks that we really do everything as a group. But also maybe if some people, I myself, I live here in Switzerland as well. I'm also very often in Belgium. I don't know if other people are here around that. At least we can find, for example, doesn't have to be big, expensive events. I know, for example, you can do events also in hotels or in hospitals or whatever. And for those who cannot join because you're living in Australia or South Africa, that we can at least also help them and represent them, so that they're maybe not physically there, but at least that we as colleagues, let us see as colleagues, that we can help each other and do more events than maybe one big annual, but smaller events. I really truly believe in that.
Yeah, I think those are really good points, Hetty. Thank you for those. And as a few of you have said right now, and we will come back to this, we should be doing this. So in other words, you're already talking about a community, and it's good that this is what's coming out of this call. We're, with our limited resources and your limited resources, if we put the limited resources together, we're more likely to achieve what we're trying to achieve. And really, what we're trying to achieve is your success, not necessarily our success at all. It's your success. So, yeah, very good points there. Victoria, if you can maybe go next.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. If I should speak about myself, I find myself quite old-fashioned in all this online sales and everything, because what I know, what I studied is to do art, and all the rest I don't really know, to make marketing, technical part of websites and all these things, actually I'm afraid of it even. So my expectations of being part of such groups, of such platforms, is actually to learn from people, to have this sharing of knowledge and resources. So I'm doing art. I can paint, I can teach, I can make live art classes, but maybe I need ideas and I need help how to sell it online, because I don't do it, and I'm really bad at it. If we speak about local networking, I know how to actually organize a real physical exhibition, how to put my pictures in the restaurant, how to organize little art painting masterclass in the house of the, how to say, like little association of the my region. I do it and it works. But I understand that today we should make more, and I'm happy to learn. I'm interested in it. I'm ready to invest more, and let's see together how can we do it. Because for example, I couldn't participate in the art launch, but I made my video. It was also a challenge. I never really do it. But thanks to you, I was pushed to overcome somehow and be in front of the camera. It's not easy. No, usually the artists, they are quite shy, actually. So the other point that I would like to say, that I find good idea to combine art with something else, like a launch or wine tasting or workshop like we made last time in Zurich. It works. I think we don't really know by what exactly the people were attracted, but they came. So we had some crowd in the end, and it's nice. That's my point. Thanks.
Yeah, very good. And that's a very interesting point that you mentioned. We all have different skills. If we put all those separate skills together, then, you know, we can do something more as well. Why not? Tatiana, I think you're on the call too. So maybe you can go next. Or are you not?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
No, maybe not. Francesco, you're definitely on the call.
Mm-hmm. Oops. I'm mute. Francesco, are you there?
I think you're on mute, Francesco.
Maybe you can unmute, right? Hello. Wait, that's I like him. I am texting maybe. Or maybe he might be on another call or something.
Okay, maybe we move to Emmanuel. You're on the call as well. If you can.
Yeah. Hello.
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah,
yes.
we can hear you.
So, hello. I just. I'm sorry. I could just join now.
That's okay.
No worries.
So we were basically asking for feedback, expectations, ideas, and so forth for moving forward, Emmanuel. I know you haven't been with us for that long, but maybe you've got some ideas and so on.
I liked actually the events. It's really a great possibility at the beginning to show ourselves and to meet people connect like you did in the lunch. And we had the experience with Art and Wine. It was okay. It was an experience, but we should try and try. I think it's at the beginning the best way. For this year, I will personally. I want to focus on events and connecting. Not online also, but to have to be more. How do you say? Quick. Is with events. Now I'm quite. I just joined and I'm quite. I didn't prepare myself for this. I don't know how. Yeah.
No, that's okay.
I should have a presentation here. Online sailing. Yeah, for me, the event is really good for my stage of artist because there is other artists that are already well known and have are in galleries and so on. But for me, it's the event is really a good possibility. Yeah, that's my input from my side from now.
Okay, thank you. I wonder whether we can get connected with Francesco now.
Yes, can you hear?
Can you hear us?
Yes, hi.
Hi. Good to see you guys. I think for me, my thoughts are in terms of online sales. In my experience, I think prints could be something to be investigated, because I think when people shop online, maybe they don't want to.
Wait, I just mute quickly.
Yes, people don't want to spend too much money first when they don't know an artist very well. So selling when I say prints, it could be different type of prints like screen prints, lino cuts, or different things. So I think in my experience, being part of another group of artists, I noticed that through their website, we do sell the prints material, while it's quite difficult to sell originals, to be honest. And they've been relatively successful in selling prints. There's a steady number of prints that get sold every year, but far less originals. I personally didn't sell any original through their platform. So this is the first point. And then the second point, of course, the bread and butter for artists is always the show. So at some point, it would be nice to have a live show. I think there's nothing that can, be used instead of a real show. Yeah, so these are my 2 cents.
Yeah, you mentioned lino cards, and what other prints do they have? Lino cards, and what's the other one?
So to have a show, to have a real physical show at some point, other than the online. So the prints could be like a build up to get there, so that work goes around and images go around, the artist gets known a little bit better. But at some point, you always have to have a show. There's no substitution for a real physical show. And in that show, you can actually try to sell the originals as well.
Oh, yes. Okay, cool. Yeah. And types of prints you mentioned, I just didn't catch it. So you mentioned lino cards and posters, if I remember correctly.
So in the other example that I made, like the other collaborative group that I'm part of, they sell digital prints in that case. So they are limited edition or digital prints. But me specifically, I also do screen prints. The one that you have to drag a screen every color that you do. These are also limited editions. I've also experimented with lino cuts, which means carving a piece of lino and then printing it. You can get series. And there are different techniques, and this keeps the prices contained, and it's easier also to send, because you can just put it in a tube and send. Well, original.
Not necessarily.
Sorry.
No, sorry.
Yeah. So original is a little bit different. In general, in my experience, I did sell originals in the past, but I probably sell easier through my own channel because maybe people have met me at shows or fairs, so they know me, and then they will contact me directly. So I think I can see this sales of originals maybe as a second stage in the process.
Okay, yes, like a build-up, like digital prints for build-up.
Correctly.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks a lot.
Great. Well, I think we've probably gone through everybody. If there's anybody who hasn't said anything who wants to say something, maybe it's now the time to unmute yourself. Otherwise, we'll move on. Okay, let's move on. So maybe if we can go to what is now slide 6. So yeah, basically when we took what we're doing up to now and we looked at it at the end of last year, basically it wasn't working, or it isn't working. And because it's not working, we need to change it. Now, you've given us some feedback on how we could change it. We have another slide, which we'll go to now, I think, which is kind of our side of things. We'll talk about that. But what we will do is, this presentation isn't fixed, and we are going to integrate everything that you've said and work with you on this going forward. So, and that's the whole point of having this call. What we won't do in anything that we change is change what our original goals were, which is to help you sell more art, whichever way and however we can do that. And maybe not just art, but it could be, as you mentioned, Chiara, like clothes, or it could be gadgets, or, whatever seems to work. In other words, give you some income, if you like, from the art that you do. But what it means is efficient use of resources. At the moment, up until now, pretty much so, it's been Christoph, myself and Jeff who've been doing everything. And as I said earlier, we don't have a lot of time to do everything. But we do have some awards money. It's about 6,000 francs or so that we will invest in moving forward with some things. Now, what does that mean? It means, maybe go up to the next slide, previous slide. Okay, because I haven't finished that yet. You talked, a lot of you, about events. So the three of us on our own are not going to organize events in 2024. We don't have the bandwidth. As I mentioned, it takes 3+ months of planning and organization and so forth. However, hearing what you've said, if we work together, we're quite happy to sponsor and provide infrastructure and as much, so for example, support slightly with some costs, contributions, do flyers, do, what we do right now. But what we won't do is kind of, for example, organize the location necessarily and all the necessaries that go with that. I think what you've said up to now is that, this could be a team effort, and the team includes us. So we're not saying we won't have events. We're saying we won't, the three of us, organize them, because we need to focus on other things which will move Connecting Art forward. Or promoting your art, and make one sale through it, so that we've got confirmation that you've not just signed up, but you're actually actively doing something with the link. And as an example for it, you guys use Instagram a lot, I think. So if you post your artworks on Instagram, you could attach the affiliate link to that and automatically have a way in which you can sell that art through Instagram without the additional costs that Instagram might bring you. We mentioned about lower priced limited edition quality prints. If you're visibly working together with us and promoting your association with Connecting Art, that you're also a Connecting Artist, and just basically using your gallery that we provide you and keeping it updated and promoting the fact that it's already there. Because the more that you've got on your gallery, and there's no basic restriction on the amount of art that you can put up there, the more chance that you've actually got of making a sale is the bottom line. And if we are working together as a team, maybe the fact that we're spreading the word of Connecting Art means you can actually benefit from what your other artist team members are doing. So think about that. And I think we've covered a lot of your ideas, so we'll move on from there. Okay. Unless anybody has any questions about that.
Cool. Okay. So we, obviously you ask yourself by now, what's the catch? So there's no catch actually. So what we do is the cost. I don't like the word cost. I more so like the contribution in return, so to speak, is of being a Connecting Artist. What we just like is a little bit of your time, like a commitment. How much is up to you at the end of the day. But the more that we contribute, it's the same concept as before. The more everyone will benefit. So the idea is to build up the community. The second one is, and this is the kind of the zeitgeist of our time at the moment, which we want to benefit from, is if all of us share, our cause together within their communities, we can actually benefit from each other's communities. And Geeks was mentioning this very much before, right? So how can we share, the buzz that we create around us and then cross benefit from each other? I don't think there is like competing, and even some like other artists and they like to, but maybe not the actual art aesthetic, so they can actually discover each other. And I think one of the big opportunities there is with social media, we can actually create exponential growth, especially now that we are also engaging a social media expert with that. And if you're willing to share that, that's great. I mean, one thing about social media that I learned is you might have 5 followers and somebody might have 5,000 followers. This actually doesn't say that you might have 5 collectors or 5,000 people who dance on TikTok. And it may still be much more relevant to just have 5, to find the right followers as well. So you shouldn't worry if you only have a few followers or something like that, because they might be just as relevant as the ones that have a lot. So let's just put them all together and mix them up and see how we can create some buzz and some traction from it. And then, of course, if someone gets a pie by selling something, we get a slice. That's something that Martin already mentioned before. So that's also fair. But if you don't sell any pies, then we don't also get any slides either. And but we want to create win-win-win situations in this community. So that's what we're all about. So all we need to know, this is the last slide, by the way, before the questions and answers. Are you willing? Are you in or are you out? So are you willing to modify help us promote, talk of the we, and we help each other. And we look at it. Somebody mentioned, sorry, I forgot who it was, but somebody mentioned very nicely before, we are actually colleagues, right? And I think we should consider ourselves colleagues. How can we push our cause together? So who wants to be a colleague and on Connecting Art, and who prefers to say like, oh no, this is not for me, which is totally fine for us, of course, as well. And say like, oh, I want to do it a different way, and I want to go somewhere else and or do something else, and then that's also fine for us. If you decide not to be part of Connecting Art, of course, that will be at our discretion. If you can keep your pictures on or your artwork on the platform, but other than that, and there will be limited support, but because we have to focus on those who are in, of course, and spend our energy and our resources, and even the 6,000 Swiss francs that we had on those, or that we have now still available. On those who are in. So yeah, this is basically at the end. You don't have to make a decision now, right? But this is basically what we wanted as the kind of final question of this presentation today. What we wanted to know from you, and we enjoy, and also, of course, say thank you very much for all your great contributions so far. Including your artworks, unfortunately I haven't met any of you. I've met Francesco in Hong Kong, of course, and in Singapore, when he sometimes has exhibitions here. But we have actually artists from the Philippines also. He couldn't make it, Marius, from Hong Kong, Francesco. I have a new artist who's going to join very soon from Singapore here, Ace. And everyone is really excited about, growing the coverage and so on. And everyone can benefit from everyone's connections and presence and energy. Yeah, that was the last slide. Yeah.
If I can just add something quickly for the in bit, if you are considering that you are somebody who's in, what might be useful as well is to kind of say, I'm in. You can do this via an email or contact us via WhatsApp or whatever. But I'm in, and these are the things that I'd be willing to contribute because I've got these sort of skills. That would actually be quite useful, and then we can kind of pool our resources.
Exactly. Great. So yeah. That's the time now for your questions and for clarifications, hopefully.
Anybody got any questions?
I heard you from the beginning, and you couldn't see me. You couldn't. I couldn't see you either. Going back to the beginning, the questions and how we could help. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe be a little bit out there, like a Saatchi. They do sell, they are online. You can't see, you cannot touch, but they have somehow success. We might not be as big, but somehow they make it work. So maybe that to be out there more. Also charity, promotions, sponsors. Those are the three which works, three words. I worked in Saudi with a BMG Foundation, and it was 50-50. Obviously, the percentage could be split differently. That can be up to us, how we decide. But the artist got me, I got 50%, the rest went for the children. And what hasn't sold, for those 2 days, because it was in Riyadh and Jeddah, they had this dinner, auction dinner. And they sell the rest of it. Obviously, that's more one-to-one or person, but also what could work is hotels, work with interior designers, because we can, if they don't see what we have, and there's plenty of us artists, we can fit something. We are creative. If they show us the room, I'm capable of painting pretty much, anything they ask me to. So that's another thing. And workshops. Martin, I don't know if you know Ivo from our groups, but Ivo works with wine, global wine or something like that, or used to work. And I went on once the Zurich, the wine tasting a couple times, and it's a massive
thing. It's a massive thing, and they're already hiring this massive room with all the wines, and there are lots of people. You're literally bumping into each other's. So if we could work with someone like that, few artists just pop up easels or something, and there is a, kind of, they already have the event, and if they want to have it a little bit more colorful, then that's another idea.
Great idea. Yeah.
So,
I mean, this is where I come back to the point of, okay, just Christoph, you, myself, and Jeff are not going to do it on our own. But if we've got something like that, where we can, I mean, Ivor, so maybe you could be the coordination point, for example, for this. We'd support all the help and, obviously provide effort as well. Just wouldn't be like the whole thing. We'd share it. But I think, why not? Yeah.
Well,
all those sort of things. And as regards the hotels and the restaurants and the interior designers and what have you, I mean, interestingly, I did try and get into the Hub in Salau, for example, with some art, and she was interested in some, and she was going to put it in the rooms, and then other things, pressure of work and family issues kind of got in the way, and that's not gone forward. But I think that's a very good point. I did actually send about 10 emails to interior designers, and basically none of them said they were interested, but maybe I wrote it in the wrong way. I don't know. But I mean, if it doesn't work the first time, don't necessarily give up. Try again, I think is the phrase. So, but that's one thing that we can share together. And I mean, maybe you could also, not you personally, Alice, but everybody could kind of have a think of, okay, how can we share ourselves together as a community? What's the best way of doing that, of saying you can basically say, Alice, for example, Ivor, I'm representing the Connecting Art artist community, and we want to do this, for example. If everybody's happy to actually pin the Connecting Art artist community label, if you like, to yourself, then that might be a way of doing it for it. Don't know what others think. It's just how we go about it. Yeah. Any other questions or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited that we really have the idea of going further as a group. So very concrete. How can we go further? Maybe, Christoph, I don't know if it's possible, or just an idea that we have a page on the website, and if you are really disengaged or member, that we have a kind of a page, questions and answers and ideas, and that we have an agenda there, that we say, for example, okay, those here in the neighborhood, shall we sit together? Shall we write these letters to whoever? Shall we go to visit hotels? Shall we, that at least we have a page where everybody's having an idea, that it's combined, and then we say, okay, let's put in an agenda, let's talk about that possibility or that idea and that idea, that we really have it concrete, because otherwise I'm always afraid, now we're full of excitement and full of ideas, and then it's next month and 2 months and in 3 months, so that we have somehow a file, and that we don't have to do it all via WhatsApp, but where we all can go to, and also for what Chiara said, our Victoria, I think if we have an issue, for example, Instagram, I had an issue, I wanted to plan it, I cannot, these are also technical questions, but maybe one of the colleagues has an answer and that we don't have to search and Google for 3 hours. So is that an idea, Christoph, maybe, to make the website like that?
Yes, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, there are many different ways how groups like ours organize themselves, and there are, depending on which kind of how, let's say, how technical people are, there are different ways. One thing that I really like and that works usually really well is Trello. I don't know if any one of you know Trello. It's like you have different tasks and they are like cards, and you can basically like these cards that you can see here on my screen, you can move them from left to right. So on the left side you have all ideas, on the right side you have everything that's done, and in between there's different stages. You know, people are doing stuff, people are stuck somewhere, people share ideas, and each of the cards basically represents like an idea, and the idea can travel from idea stage to implementation stage, and people can work collaboratively on it. Everyone can see it at the same time. So this is a tool that I am a big fan of, and it worked very well before. So we could use something like that, or we could just use shared to-do lists, or even some people use like Slack or something like a channel, like a chat channel or things like that. But that's a little bit more elaborate because you have to kind of install it on your phone and things like that. But Trello is usually quite a useful tool to organize what you describe, and I can suggest that we can use something like that to start with. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you again.
Yeah, my pleasure. I will make a task here. Yeah.
Anybody else? Or shall we close the meeting?
I have a proposal and a question at the same time. We are speaking a lot about the offline, real, physical events and exhibitions, and always we speak after that it takes a lot of time and organization. But what about the events like Art International Zurich Expo, which is already promoted, known, organized? We just have to make our candidature. We just have to participate. Of course, it will take some organization, but we will promote and present stand of Connecting Art, and it's physical and it's well known, it's quite crowded. It's just an idea. I mean,
it's a great idea. I think there's two challenges to overcome for doing this. Number one is usually they charge quite a lot of money for the stall, right? Because they can provide you footfall. So they want to charge for the footfall. So usually you pay like multiple thousands of Swiss francs, up to 10, 20,000, depending on which event, for the booth. So what we can do is we can of course do a fundraising. Like those of us who want to kind of chip in, they can do that, and then we can buy a booth together as Connecting Art. That's one challenge. The other challenge, some of the organizations, they don't allow that. They exactly don't want, they want more people to have their own booth. Of course, they can sell more than people ganging up together and then kind of having a shared booth. They say like only one brand can have one booth. So we need to find out if certain events would allow that. But we have the benefit of Connecting Art. So we can go as Connecting Art, and then people can basically share the umbrella, but which would be more difficult if you would try to be kind of individual artists coming together to get a booth together, so to speak. So these are, but it's a great idea, and I think piggybacking on existing events is great. But we also discussed another idea before. There maybe not even art-related events that have art as an additional layer of bringing color to an existing event. That's also possible, but they may not charge for that because they are not kind of in the business of providing footfall to art. But they might actually be very grateful for something like that to give some color and some attraction to some specialness to their events as well. So yeah, great idea. And but if we can overcome this, if we can kind of fundraise, crowdfund a stall, I think we should explore it. If someone wants to pick up the kind of the admin work that kind of goes along with it as well.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Sure, we have to share the fees, which are quite high.
Yeah.
It's the choice. If there are some 1, 2, 3, 5 artists interested, it's possible.
Yeah.
Yes. Good point. Yes.
And of course, we would chip in some money as well. I mean, it's not all down to the artists, but that's where working together is actually what we need to do to do what we want to do. And such a community can definitely, as Christoph said before, create a win-win, and that's what we're trying to do. And then, as Alice mentioned, it doesn't necessarily have to be an actual art show. It could be something linked to an art show. And maybe we should look more at that sort of thing as well. Okay. If nobody else has any other questions, we've already gone 34 minutes over time. So the video will be made available to you in due course when it's able to be put up on YouTube. If you don't know, by the way, we do have, and it's not really very much promoted, so we need to promote it more, but we do have a Connecting Art YouTube channel, which we could put a lot more of your artworks on as well, of course. But that's where this is going to head. And also we'll make the, probably in an email to you, we'll make the slides available as well.
Cool. With the notes. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, with the notes and everything. Great. Okay. Thank you very much indeed for your participation. I think it's been very heartwarming for me personally to see your interest in moving us forward, and for the community spirit that it's generated. And so now, yeah, let's quit the talking and get the doing started.
Okay. Feel free to put some info in your chat. Even introduce yourself in the chat and things like that. I think we want to kind of create more buzz in the WhatsApp chat as well, so everybody can feel that this is all alive. Yeah. If you're up for it.
And
thanks a lot for attending.
We also have, if you didn't notice as well, a community. We have the Facebook group, which if you haven't joined already, do so. It's under Connecting Art. There is a community chat there as well, which obviously is not just artists, it's not just ourselves, but it's everybody who's interested. And there's about 160 plus people, many of whom are potential buyers as well. So it's probably worth your while joining that and maybe talking there as well. That's another easy way of connecting with people. And Athea has done a little bit, started that ball rolling as well. Okay. All right. Thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your day and a nice weekend too. And we'll speak again soon, I'm sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Nice. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye. Good weekend. Thank you.
Bye.
No, everyone.